All right, click the links for Odysee and BitChute. I thought this was a funny quote, but I don't think it's accurate because I think the guy did a pretty good job, and he came across as very likable. Where on Twitter and social media, he comes across as a complete idiot. But really, the only thing that matters is his screen presentation. Okay, so the thing with this movie is comparing like a 1975 Ford Pinto to a Lada of the same year. You look at these cars, you don't know anything about cars. You go, oh, they look the same, just small, boring-looking cars. Nothing exciting about them whatsoever. Yeah, they look the same. No, let's take a Lada. It goes 30,000 miles before it needs a complete engine rehaul. Literally, everything needs to be rebuilt because everything put into it is crap. You look at Ford Pinto, it's like it's just the same crappy-looking car, but 30,000 miles, it keeps going, 60,000, 90,000. Then after that, you probably need to start changing some belts, but they look the same. So it's like saying, yes, a Ford Pinto is light years better than a Lada, even though they both look the same. But that's still not saying a Ford Pinto is still not a Mustang. And then you occasionally get a Ferrari in terms of filmmaking. That's my point with this movie. And first of all, it doesn't matter how well some silly bread and circuses does. I think we're getting way beyond the circuses. To be honest, I thought it would underperform because I wasn't seeing the excitement about it. But if it's a hit, great. It doesn't matter. The issue is, well, one facet is the woke stuff because that's not going away. If you like listening to the fiddle and smell and smoke, great. Comic Book Hut and Tristan made a few fun videos about this. Hut, because he's just fired up about everything, which is fine. Tristan, because the video made her some money, and I'm not trying to be passive aggressive, that's what the point of YouTube. They're both smart, insightful people, and Hut should probably stick to politics. That seems more his thing. But YouTube is kind of done with politics coming from anyone except the mainstream. Susan Wojcicki herself gave an interview saying that if you're not on the mainstream, you're going to be delisted, which is kind of funny because the channel, the platform's called YouTube. But YouTube is asshole. So even guys like Eric July are on the chopping block. Anyone who is not sticking to the narrative is going to be on thin YouTube ice. With this movie, people are jumping to attack it or defend it. You're going to have to give it a few weeks. So far it's at 100 million domestically, but keep in mind it's got to hit 2 or 3 times production. Domestic returns, so that's 300 to 450 million dollars. Only time will tell. It might end up to be a soft underperformer or softly in the black. You'll know in a few weeks or two. Or in 45 days when it comes out to streaming. I can't imagine this going to be a huge hit, but who cares? It can't be as bad as Wonder Woman 1984, Black Widow, Suicide Squad, G.I. Joe, which was an abomination, Jungle Cruise with The Rock. Seems like a lot of the movies in the past 18 months have been just ugh. So but I'm sure it's going to be better than those, better received than those. And in 45 days when it hits streaming, it may be something that appeals to the streamer crowd that don't want to go to a movie theater and sit next to Typhoid Mary, because who would? I watched the online version last night, and it looked okay, but it also looks like a YouTuber filmed it in his basement on a green screen. Sort of a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Matrix vibe going on. Also, it would have been cool with Jackie Chan like 20 years ago, not in a comedic role, just in it playing a serious role, but, unless you want to magically de-age him. But the whole YouTubers getting worked up, Gary and whoever, Doomcock, they make tens of thousands of dollars making predictions. If they're wrong, they'll make $27,000 worth of videos, and if they're right, they'll make $28,000 in videos. It doesn't matter, it's just content. They are cool guys, and in terms of most pop culture opinions, everyone is probably loosely aligned. Some are more or less honk-pilled than others. And I hesitate to use the culture war term because it sounds so ridiculous when you see the gathering storm clouds growing of an actual war. But pop culture, politics, and ultimately war are all related. But they're an infotainment, which is fine. But getting outraged over a stupid movie is crazy. But at least the YouTubers are making a lot of money doing it, so credit to them. The second step is to get outraged over a YouTuber who is probably going to make $100,000 over talking about what looks like a very mediocre Englishman bad film, filmed 90% on a green screen. It's like a $150 million budget, but it doesn't look like it. The YouTubers are making money. The Twitter outrage kids are not making anything. In fact, the Twitter kids are making Doomcock and Gary money. Essentially, they're working for the YouTubers for free, which is something the Twitter kids never seem to think about. You know, if you're going to waste your time on Twitter, 8 hours a day on Twitter, make a video on YouTube, at least make $1 off it, or maybe more. Maybe you'll be really good at it. It doesn't, I mean, do something that's got some lasting effect. Twitter is just so ephemeral. Anyway, so as I was watching the movie, it looks more and more like crap as you get past the first few minutes of it, but it also looks better than the other stuff out during the Wu Flu, the Ford Pinto compared to the Lada, which, sorry if you're Russian and you had to belt those Ladas that needed to be, I don't know, valves adjusted, springs reset, and anyway, which was also crap, but it's not much of a compliment. It's still crap. It knows it's crap. It feels like it's self-aware of its crappiness, but it's also what Hollywood is going to be putting out now. This is the post soft Bolshevik BLM revolution. Movies from the mainstream are going to be plastic, wind-up love dolls. They're going to look like movies, but you will grow a vagina while you watch the estrogen-filled propaganda. Eventually, you're just going to turn into a giant pussy if you continue to watch this stuff. So YouTube conflict, in quotes, is silly, but it's outrage marketing, which works and makes money. But what is more interesting is the mainstream response to people criticizing the movie and its brethren. It relates to the video game guy getting fired over the Texas baby deletion video concept. They can't have no diversity of opinion is allowed anymore in the mainstream, and they want control of the narrative. And if you can criticize anything, they're immediately going to ad hominem you to try to lessen your impact. You're an incel Nazi if you don't like the cancer they're trying to sell, and which incel Nazis actually sounds kind of based. It sounds like the actor on Twitter is trying to get as many eyeballs on the film as possible. Hey, anything you have to do, if calling customers incel Nazis gets you eyeballs on the film and butts and seats, go for it, man. Do whatever you got to do to outreach marketing works. It works on both sides, and the point is, like, none of this stuff matters. But policies and pop culture kind of feed off each other. Movies as propaganda is a remarkably effective tool. Right now, they're pushing the anti-white hatred stuff, and even normies are starting to see through the veil. So they're trying to create multi-racial Germans of the 40s. It's something like even brown and black people can be fashionable ones. It's a way of saying that any conservative, no matter the color, is the enemy and needs to be dehumanized. The Russians, the Chinese, Cubans, I don't know, some Central Asians, Central Americans, and others did it with the victims of communism. It's all just one big cycle. It's like a chain of idiots butt humping each other, hoping to make a baby, then confused when nothing happens. Communists really hate it when you laugh at them. Humor is something they can't accept, which is a problem because it's a big part of humanity. And not all humor is going to hold these deep truths or anything, but it does offer a rebuttal to what bull feathers the mainstream is selling. If critics keep pointing out the anti-white narrative coming from certain people, it goes to the awkward stage where either they address it and they fix it, or by continuing to ignore the issue, they're admitting that, yeah, in fact, they are anti-white. People use woke as their chosen pejorative because it's safe, but really the issue is what I'm talking about, and globalism. They're trying to reshape the West, and they're using the propaganda of films to help them, and they're winning so far. And I sort of get the feeling that they could purge the big Phantom Menace channels if they wanted to, because they're effective at lampooning the left. They could nuke the biggest 100 right-of-center Phantom Menace type of channels, anyone over 100,000 subs. They could do this without a second thought or care in the world. It wouldn't affect them at all. They don't like to be laughed at. They don't like to lose control of the narrative. And honestly, the best thing for this crowd, those people, us, loosely under this alignment, would be if they kicked everyone off to Odysee. They do it one by one so nobody leaves. It's the slowly heating pot of water. They also seem to be much more sensitive than in the 2015 days of Star Wars, that abomination, where people were laughing at how bad Star Wars was. I don't know. I don't know if Mauler does long reviews anymore because I don't watch. Superhero type of movies are gonna be woke. I can't watch woke films anymore, so I'm kind of done with the genre in totality. And then I come to the realization that all of Hollywood is kind of over in that regard. The left-wing folks are more triggered by the Phantom Menace and the criticism of films now much more than before. I was listening to a few minutes of Mundane Matt. He's outraged about people who have the wrong opinions on films. The difference is we talk about how bad the films are. They don't talk about how good the films are. They talk about people criticizing the films. Ask me why I didn't like Shang-Chi. Answer, too much vagina power. Enter the personal insults about how I'm a toxic fan. If you liked a bunch of 50-year-old women doing kung fu, great. I don't understand women in fighting roles. Usually men do those things because they're stronger and they're not worried about having kids during their fertility window. That's just biology. People are hardwired for that. Maybe there are other problems, but when I see non-stop women in roles that don't make sense for them, women can be in anything they want. Really? Because it looks stupid. I know I'm watching somebody's agenda. It's just their propaganda out on the screen. It's like, really? A bunch of 40, 50-year-old women running around doing karate. Huh. That's a little... It's not karate, you bigot! But to criticize this in social media means some soy kid who's on hormones and has to dilate will lose their fucking minds over somebody criticizing their Hollywood puppet masters. I thought Captain Marvel was dog shit, and it did $1 billion. So maybe this will be an exception. The numbers don't add up to me as a big hit either. Again, it's only at 100 million domestic, especially after inflation. The numbers are still sort of at the bottom, but compared to Captain Marvel, it is Casablanca. The thing is, on Twitter, I'm still not hearing a broad buzz about how great the movie is. But if you know what, double or triple the production budget, you're looking at like that's where it crosses over to the profit line. Are they going to hit that with this film? Only time will tell. And really, like, who cares? It's a stupid movie. Disney is stupid. Everything coming out of Disney is going to be like, you're never going to get a movie like this again. You're never going to get anything. I don't know when movies got cancers. Say anything pre-90s. You're never going to get that type of movie ever again. Unless there's some sort of civil war and the country divides and you can have like a new Hollywood. That would be a trip. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.